inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Thursday, November 14th. Good morning, Emil.
Hey, what's up, dude? How's it going?
Good, man. Good morning, Tucson. Thanks for tuning in. We got a lot to get to this morning. Major announcement on the way. Before we get into that, real quick, I want to shout out all the boys who are locked up in prison in Eloy. Looks like we got a lot.
Interesting, yeah. Hey, guys.
Yeah. Well, we have, we got a lot of listeners in that section of the world, and I found this out because my buddy Danny, one of my best friends growing up, he just got out serving time just the other day, and he gave me a call yesterday, and I got to catch up with him. And his last year or two in the system, they were moving him around. They were basically downgrading him from prison yards from maximum security to 3 yards to 2 yards. I guess there's lingo and stuff. I'm actually somewhat fascinated about the system because it's been so long, right?
What do you do?
Well, I'm not getting into that.
Hey, come on. You said maximum security.
Emil, I have an agenda, and I know you're coming in hot, and that's good. And save that energy.
It's not hot.
Save that energy. We have a lot of show to get to today and tomorrow. But so, anyways, he said that during his last stretch, last 8 months, he was out in Eloy. And he said he was listening to the show, and a lot of people listen to the show from beginning to end there. Nice. And you never hear from them, obviously, because they don't have the luxury of making phone calls and stuff. And every now and then I'll get a fan letter from a prison thing. It's been a while, to be honest with you. But, it's good to know. It's hey, if we're helping you, focus and let the time pass faster as hopefully you get out and you turn your life around, then I'm all here for it. So, shout out to Eloy. Every day we wake up and we're like, okay, which section of the world are we going to shout out today? It always surprises who rides with us and listens to the show. All right. And so with that out of the way, let's get to the business at hand. At 5 a.m. this morning, if you follow Linkin Park, you may have saw this announcement. Linkin Park did announce that they are going to be taking over the world in 2025, doing a full-blown world tour. Now, you're like, good for Linkin Park. What's this have to do with me? Well, that when they do a world tour, that they're going to be stopping by Arizona. Unfortunately, it is going to be Phoenix, but fortunately, it's going to be the Footprint Center, and it's happening in September. So this is a big deal because, Rock 102.1 KFMA would like to welcome Linkin Park to the Footprint Center in September. I'm trying to... Stupid part of Live Nation. I'm trying to pull up all the digital stuff.
Having a hard time over there?
Oh, well...
It's all right. It's all right.
God damn it, Emil. Let me just get this going because I'm trying to be a professional here. So I luckily for me, I screenshotted Linkin Park's official announcement because Live Nation makes it impossible to download all the digital flyers and whatnot. All right, so September 6th is going to be the day that Linkin Park is going to be performing at the Footprint Center up in Phoenix.
Right.
I'm looking at their whole lineup of next year, starting on January 31st. They're just a busy band, dude. Touring all over the place, headlining some festivals. It's going to be nonstop for Linkin Park. They have a new album with their new lead singer, Emily Clark.
They come out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it is coming out tomorrow. And then this weekend, here's what we're doing on KFMA. We're going to be giving you an opportunity to win that album, right? And with that, it will qualify you for the grand prize, which will be tickets for that show. Then all next week, we're going to be giving away tickets for Linkin Park before those tickets go on sale because this was announced kind of a week and some change out. So I believe tickets will be on sale not this Friday, but next Friday for their Phoenix show. But you can win them before they go on sale by listening to Beef Vegan Presents each and every day next week. And that's the big news. Which is also massive. Because this week we've been giving away Papa Roach's 25th anniversary tour tickets along with Rise Against. Those are winning for you. You can buy them today. You can win those tickets around 7 o'clock this morning. All next week, opportunities to win tickets to see Linkin Park. On various dates, they have, AFI opening up for them, Architects opening up for them, Grandson opening up for them. I think, I don't know who's opening up for them in Phoenix, but... I don't think it's the 3 names that I just mentioned that I'm super excited about. But either way, I'm going to post all that information on our social media pages, so make sure you like it and share it. So if you have friends that are fans of Linkin Park, they should be stoked as well, because 2025 is going to be a massive year for them, and we'll see how the entire album comes about. I know that we already have a couple singles that we played on the radio, and, they sound pretty good. And, it's a very polarizing subject, Linkin Park is these days. There's people that are all about, the resurrection and the continuation of the legacy that is. And there's people who are hard set against them replacing Chester in a possible situation. It was a possible situation to win. So I am on the team that would rather be able to hear those great songs live again with the majority of the original band. So that's just how it is, and it's just nothing new in the world of rock and roll. Tragedies happen, bands continue to reform, reshape.
Rock stars die.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
It is part of the time, dude. You didn't say part of the time.
No,
but...
all the time.
Okay.
They die all the time, and it's all right, And I have a feeling this new album's going to be really good because they have to show everybody.
That's what I'm saying.
They have to show everybody. It's like a prove it moment, and that's cool because we get to see them prove it at this point. So
see, I thought you were anti Emily Clark.
No,
Clark
I'm
Linkin
not
Park.
anti. I'm just saying, to me, Chester Bennington, Mike Shinoda too, but was Linkin Park. That he was Linkin Park.
Yeah.
So it's just now you have this chance to either show the world that you're still Linkin Park and that you can do and you can bring it. And you're not just trying to make some money off the name.
Right.
And I think they know it. They're smart dudes. So we'll see.
And they have money. Look, we play Linkin Park nonstop. Bands that get songs played on the radio get paid a lot of money from the radio, and then all the other stuff. So they had money. It wasn't about making more money for them. I think it was really about the love of the game and continuing to create music and connect and get that adrenaline rush from live shows. And I'll tell you what, I had a personal experience with Emily Clark. I had her, up close and personal in my studio. Not only was she one of the nicest people that I met, she was a sweetheart of a person, extremely talented as a vocalist. And so when they announced that she was the lead singer of Linkin Park now, I was all about it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? There's not too many out there that could even stand next to the shoes that Chester filled out, right? And I believe she's the closest amongst anyone that I've seen out of all these years. And I'm sure there's some undiscovered talent out there, but the closest without it being 100% a ripoff. So this is something along the ways. Of course, it is a polarizing subject. There are people who are anti. There are people who are for. Either way, I know that show at the Footprint Center is going to sell out. I know their entire goddamn tour is going to sell out. Yeah. So hate all you want. People are still showing up, and this album drops Friday. You can win a copy of it, and then, of course, you could possibly win tickets before they go on sale. So that is the big news. With that said, it's a big show today. We're going to have Herb Stratford in a little bit later on. We're reminding you that we are doing a food drive all morning long at the Sam's Club. Yeah, on River and La Cholla. Maybe it's La Cholla. It's on River, that Sam's Club there. Now, the Sam's Club opens at 8, but we have colleagues there in our KFMA tent set up right now. So if you're in the area and you could drop off any non-perishable items, we appreciate it. Of course, now's the time for giving.
It's the season.
Yes, and shouldn't be any families out there starving. And then with that said, at 8 a.m., when Sam's Club opens up, they're waiving the membership fee for everybody. So this will be your opportunity to shop like the elite, to see what it's like inside.
What they do?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see Bill Gates at a Sam's Club.
Yeah.
And you see
doing all the samples and stuff and then buying toilet paper in bulk.
Elon Musk out there just buying.
I'm telling you, man. So, if you never know what the inside of a Sam's Club looks like and you're curious and you want to go to the Disneyland of food entities, grocery stores, well, today's your opportunity.
It's a pretty fun place.
And while you're there, you pick up some stuff for yourself, get a little extra like peanut butter, drop that off at the KFMA tent.
Smart.
Help us, feed the unfortunate going into the holiday season. So we got a lot of show to get to. So let's kick things off with a banger. It's The Darkness. I believe in a thing called love. Got your Morning Moron coming up after Wage War. Keep it right here all morning long. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. You know the name of the show. Let's go. All right, so starting off the broadcast live with 2 updates. Yes, it is Emily Armstrong, not Emily Clark, so that was a mistake that I made first thing in the morning. And yes, it is River and Stone. Now, whatever the hell I said initially in that opening statement as we're trying to get people to go to the food drive, even though they didn't even set up a KFMA tent there. So we're such an afterthought to this company in a cluster. They got the KLPX tent and they got the mixed tent. Those are the bread and butter winners. And then you got the redheaded stepchild that is KFMA. So look for those if you go. It's still a great cause. We had Norma Cable in studio yesterday talking to us about it. So it's still a great cause for you to go and raise, just donate some food for people who are hungry.
A lot of people out there needing it.
Yeah. In fact, actually, we're about to get on the air. But I've been on a turkey kick, and it's not even Thanksgiving. Yeah, so yesterday I ate 2 turkey sandwiches, and I'll tell you more about it here in just a second.
I'm
That's
really
how
excited.
excited I
Tell
am.
me about this turkey sandwiches.
Yeah, I love telling skinny people about my fat exploits.
Whatever. I love sandwiches too, man. It's all right.
Yeah, yesterday was a sandwich day for me. So, while we're doing the podcast broadcast, Rico Valdez and I were talking, and I played a video on the stream, and immediately after the video ended, it went to like an Arby's commercial, and they talked about having deep fried turkey sandwiches. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I never had deep fried turkey. This will be my first experience having deep fried turkey. I'm going to Arby's.
Yeah.
Right? So then I immediately after the show, I went to Arby's, and I drove through, and I got myself a deep fried turkey sandwich, which it's an Arby's sandwich. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And it was okay. And then later on that night, I'm like, I got to eat, but I'm not feeling too well because I ate Arby's earlier.
Or deep fried turkey sandwich.
Yeah, I pooped a lot, and I'm exhausted, so I don't want to make dinner. I'll just order something. So then I had Capriotti's for the first time.
Okay.
Now, Capriotti's, and this is not an endorsement or nothing, but so I'm all about sandwich places, and I haven't tried this place yet because I'm a little elitist, when it comes to sandwiches. Yeah. I have my favorites and my rankings, and they constantly change depending on, but there's so many great sandwich chains out there, and of course, then there's local spots like Beyond Bread and Baggins, right?
Totally.
But with that, Capriotti's, they make their claim to fame with their turkey. So they have basically like a Thanksgiving turkey sandwich, which is what you would make for leftovers. It's like shaved turkey with stuffing, cranberry sauce, and
Sounds
gravy.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't try that, though. But I did get the turkey because the way they do the turkey is different. They basically do roast the whole turkey, and then they shave it. So you have turkey shaving, so it tastes like a leftover turkey sandwich. Now, I realize that Thanksgiving's literally a week away, and I'm going to be eating this anyways.
Yeah, it's not like overkill for you?
Well, it could be, but I don't know why I couldn't wait a full week.
Your body's just like, I'm ready. Let's do it.
So then I ate a turkey sandwich at night. So I doubled up my entire, what I ate yesterday. Turkey sandwich for breakfast / lunch, and then turkey sandwich for dinner / dessert, dude. And today I've been gobbling all morning long.
Gobbling.
Yeah.
Unintended.
All right, well, we got the podcast broadcast live. Coming up next, I'm going to ask this question to Emil, and I'm asking you guys on the stream as well, youtube.com/beefvegan. Have you ever accidentally taken someone out in public?
Taking someone out.
Meaning like you just crash into them and they collapse to the floor. So we're going to share those stories. If you want to share along, you can comment on our YouTube stream, youtube.com/beefvegan, or give us a call at 600-KFMA. I have video of an example of someone being taken out inadvertently. Okay. And so we're going to go off of that. But here's brand new music from Bad Flower. It's Detroit on Rock 102.1 KFMA. We're live on the podcast broadcast. We're live on the podcast broadcast.
Taking people out with their cars, huh? I did that once.
Did you take somebody out with their cars?
I was a passenger, and the driver took somebody out with a car.
All right. I will say this. I do like Portillo's. I do like Portillo's a lot. Their sandwich is really good, and not turkey sandwich, but you take the Italian beef and you get
pretty good
cheese
there.
On it, all the peppers.
I'll eat it.
You dunk it. And I do like it. Sometimes I'll do the sandwich without the bread, right? It'd just be a bowl of meat and sausage with au jus. Really good. So I am a fan of Portillo's. I fear for Portillo's because they need to make so much money per day.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big operation.
And it looks like it's so quiet over there. Every time I cruise by, man, I'm like, I hope people are inside instead of the drive-through.
And they are kind of, but it's never full. And for a place of that magnitude, how big that place is, and how many people they employ and everything, it needs to be busy almost from open to close.
All the time,
to be
yeah.
Profitable.
And it's in a good spot too. It's right there, Elcon Mall, and you're passing right by it on Broadway. So it's you think about what else is in the area, and you got what do you get? You get some In-N-Out, and you got chicken burgers and stuff like that. To me, it's a good place, but Luke's is also right down the road. Luke's to me is my favorite.
Well,
I love
locals love Luke's, but Luke's is one of the first places I tried when I was down here, and to be honest with you, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah?
Yeah, but like I said, I'm a snob when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Right.
But, Portillo's I am a fan of, which is, it's weird to say you're just one or the other. I had an Italian beef at Rocco's not too long ago. That was a good
Pretty
Italian
good one,
beef
yeah.
sandwich. Yeah. But, their wings are fire, and Rocco's finally announced officially that they are open in the new location, even though they have been discreetly for a good 2 weeks. And Rocco's been getting his ass beat, dude.
Yeah, just busy.
Yeah,
Good.
and it was too big for him, and he just like I saw him, and I felt bad for him. I'm bad for his success. It was a detriment to his own success. But I'm like, it's going to be okay, buddy.
Yeah.
But he's like limping around. He's like physically getting beat up by people being so excited about this new location.
It'll even out at some point.
Yeah.
He'll be happy that he did it.
Yeah, and he is. Like, you start seeing that on social media, some of the postings and, the gratitude. So I feel like he's weathered the storm and things are starting to kind of like, he's getting used to the new operation and kind of appreciating it because it's a much larger space, not only for the dining room area, but for the kitchen, which makes it easier for them to be able to bang out a bunch of great
Absolutely.
food. So.
You just got to find the footing, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. I'm going to show this video here, and now this is a couple weeks old. To be honest with you, it's from the Auburn game, and a cheerleader. I'm just gonna play it right when we get on the air here, which is about 30 seconds. See, Chrissy says Luke's is pretty good. Like the beef. Got to eat it fast. It gets soggy.
It does get soggy.
Yeah, and see, and nothing wrong with limping, but I'm just saying, like he said, he was getting his ass kicked. He looked hurt.
He's been doing a long time too. I mean, the guy's getting a little older, so
Yeah, I know, but I don't like to bring that up to him. You know what I mean?
Reality hits sometimes, but he's doing good. Like I said, he'll figure it out.
Right. Yeah. All right, we're getting on the air here, so. 600 KFBang, 605-362. That is Bad Flower with Detroit. Welcome back to the podcast broadcast. Emil,
Yeah.
have you seen this video? This is a viral video from a couple weeks ago, the Auburn college game.
No.
Okay, so basically players are running out in the field, and they have cheerleaders that are doing all their gymnastics on the field as well. The cheerleader apparently didn't see the college player, vice versa, and this happened. Boom. You see that?
Oh, man.
Now, what you're not seeing here with the audio there is a cheerleader just literally taking out a player, like knocking him almost out completely. The cheerleader, again, did not see this person whatsoever.
Doing all kinds of backflips.
Yeah. They were doing handsprings, back handsprings down the field, didn't realize the players were coming out of the tunnel, which, that was on them. Now, I see Auburn actually lost the game. The Sooners ended up winning the game 27-21, and they blame the cheerleader on this. Kind of jinxed it. But watching the video is so relatable because I'm like, sometimes you just move so fast that you inadvertently don't see where you're going, and you take people out, right? So, like, what's the situation where you accidentally took somebody out?
Oh, my situation that I was telling you about? So this is years and years ago. So, hey, you can't get me on this one. Statute of limitations. Oh, I was passenger in this situation. It was late at night, and we're cruising. This was back in Bisbee, actually. My buddy was driving, and we roll up to a stop sign, and he kind of did a California stop and rolled right through it. And there's, like, nobody out, we thought. And I kind of look forward, and I see, like, this face smushed up against the window, and, like, the whites of his eyes just, like, bugged out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it didn't hit me. I was pretty chill about it. I saw him roll off the car and off to the side, and my buddy's just cruises off. He didn't even notice.
Yeah.
He didn't even notice. And I'm like, hey, bro, you just like hit this guy. And I'm looking back, and I see him, and he's like walking it off, and he's like flipping us off.
Yeah, he's mad, and rightfully so.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, and he thought I was just BSing him. I'm like, no, man, you hit this guy. You should I go back? I'm like, oh, that's up to you, man.
Yeah.
He's all right, but I'm not driving, so I don't care.
That's so funny. Initially I was just talking about, like, for me, I was thinking of being a klutz and walking into people fast and taking them out, which I've done several times. But, talking about hitting somebody with a car reminded me of the story, a very odd story when I was living in Flagstaff. And I'm sure I told it on the stream before, but it's been a while. So when I first moved up to Flagstaff, I'm going around to different house parties and whatnot. There was one house party I went to where there was a very pretty girl, and she was kind of like flirting with me. But she had a boyfriend, right? And her boyfriend was there. Her boyfriend was like a skinny dreadlock dude.
Okay.
All right. So this guy is getting mad at me for a girlfriend hitting on me. Now, I wasn't reciprocating. I was just kind of minding my own business. And that's just kind of like how it was. But ever since that initial house party, I would see him around in Flagstaff, and there would be a weird energy, right? And I felt like he didn't like me for whatever reason. Our styles didn't match at the time. It just was what it was. And I started up a restaurant delivery business, much like a DoorDash, with my buddy. And one day I was getting in the car to go pick up an order, and I go to pull out on San Francisco Street. He's riding a bike, and he did one of those Wayne's World of like baseball slides into my windshield.
Yeah.
So I pull out real quick, and he hits the car, and he slides onto the hood, right onto the windshield where he's like a fly on the windshield, right? Face like right against it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. And he pulls his like, peels his face off the windshield, looks inside and goes, you.
Yeah, he says you.
Yes, dude. Did I tell you this story before?
No, but I had a feeling it was getting to this point. This
Yes, dude. So he said you, and I was like, me? Well, F you, dude. Get off my car, right? So then I immediately took offense, even though I went from feeling bad that I accidentally hit a dude on a bike to immediately feeling outraged that this, POS got in my way while I'm trying to make this delivery drive.
The gall of this man.
Right, and that was the time I inadvertently hit someone. It wasn't a hit and run because I drove off slowly with the middle bird out. And and I should have looked up his girlfriend after that.
Hit and cruise.
Yeah, be like, first I'm gonna smash you, then I'm gonna smash your girlfriend.
Double
What's
smash.
up, punk? Herb Schaffer, good morning, dude. How you doing?
Good. Who are we talking? Who is this? I came in late.
Yes, well, I'm going to fill you in on the podcast broadcast, but I'm glad that you're in here because we have a lot to get to. With new releases, we'll catch up on the challenge, and we have some other fun in store. So you can join us, youtube.com/beefvegan. But coming up next, Herb Stratford's going to give us the rundown of if there's anything we should be excited about coming to movie theaters or our streaming services and what to avoid. So you can join us, youtube.com/beefvegan, or keep it here because we'll be back after music from Linkin Park and Rob Zombie on Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, so the story was we played this video of the Auburn cheerleader running into players. This went viral a little bit ago, right? So went boom, just kind of macked that player. Yeah. So with that led me to the question, have you ever accidentally taken someone out? And Emil brought up a story about how his buddy accidentally hit somebody in a car. And then so I was saying how when I was at Flagstaff, I had this rivalry with this kid that I didn't really understand why I had a rivalry with him. His girlfriend was hitting on me, and he kind of got jealous and didn't like me because of that.
All right.
But it's Flagstaff, so it's a small town, so you see people everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It's so small. You can't avoid people. And I was driving, going to go pick up a delivery, and when I pulled out on the street, he was riding his bike the other way, hit my car, did a baseball slide right into the windshield, right where my face is, like literally right there. And so he pulled away, and when he saw who was driving, he just went in the most visceral, angry way possible, just you like it was a very Curb Your Enthusiasm moment where I'm like, me? Well, fuck you. Right? Like, this basically confirmed.
You turned your wipers on.
Yeah, pretty much. Got a dirty hippie on my windshield. Got to clean it off. But, it confirmed because I didn't even know for a fact that he didn't like me. I just felt the energy and the way he would look at me. Like, I feel like this guy doesn't like me. And that was the confirmation that he didn't like me.
Yeah.
It was when I hit him with my car. Which
luckily he didn't press charges or something.
No, it's kind of his fault too. He was riding a bicycle like an asshole, and we both have to look out for each other.
Wow.
You gave him a real reason not to like you, too.
Oh, yeah.
Not some BS reason.
And I didn't blame him afterwards, but I'm like, come on, bring it. So that was it was an odd thing. So before we get into a lot, let me pull up your email. Let's geek out on the challenge for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, totally.
Because fuck, dude, is this season not like one of the best seasons or what?
It really is. I gotta say, and let's just hope that they pay attention. I know you said that they are, but it's these old school people, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the stakes are so high when you have a couple people go home, you're just like, oh, it's not like, those are newbies. We don't care if they go home, right? I mean, you're really feeling it.
Every single person is a character you want to see on the show.
And everybody is like, it's like the challenges are super hard.
Yep.
The arena things, they've upped their game so much. The production value, the challenges are really like insane. Must take them like days to build these things.
Yes.
And I'm loving it, and I'm loving that Johnny is having the season he's having.
Johnny Bananas, yeah.
He is just, everybody's after him, and he just keeps coming back, and I just love it.
In fact, actually, when I put the Challenge 40 in Twitter, the Challenge 40 Bananas is the first thing that pops up. So, like we give an example. I'll play a little bit of a clip of Johnny Bananas to get you caught up on why we're geeking out on this. And it's funny because this last episode showed a lot of feet, so it was a foot fetish episode. for whatever reason.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so much feet. Let's see if there's a good video or a clip that I could show of Johnny. Maybe not. But yeah, the challenge has been great. The eliminations have been fun. And, the drama and the shit talking has been nonstop. Here's an example of the feet, dude. There's so many different shots of feet in the challenge on this. This is one shot. Right? Or, hey, Michelle's like, can my feet join the party, right?
Yeah.
With Michelle doing that. Let's see.
That was like the third foot reference, too. I mean,
yeah.
it was a lot of
It
feet.
started off with a foot orgy, where they put all their feet together. And Johnny has always been, like a foot fetish dude where he's claimed, he appreciates feet, which I relate to that. But, it's a
Really?
Well, yeah, I have a foot appreciation, not a fetish. I'll tell you why.
It's an appreciation, guys.
That's what I'm going to use from now on. It's not a fetish. It's an appreciation.
And I'll tell you why. There's a subconscious reason that foot fetishes develop and stuff. One, it's based off of insecurity, first and foremost. But secondly, really what it comes to psychologically is putting women on a pedestal, right? So, they say the theory has been by psychologists and doctors and whatnot, is that you're looking down at the feet almost like the way our ancestors would kind of bow down and worship the feet of a queen or a goddess.
All right.
So you're looking down at the feet as you're kind of putting them on a pedestal subconsciously when you do that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the biggest foot fetish freaks out there, the ones that like to get in between the toes and shit, like that.
You mean Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Right. Feel like they're not good enough for a woman. Right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so that's where that develops and originates from. So, yeah.
Do you feel like that, or do you just have that line drawn?
No, like I said, foot appreciation.
I
appreciate
a fine foot.
Symmetry. No,
That's a
symmetrical
symmetric foot.
Yeah, I want a symmetric foot. I want to be able to take care. You could tell how well a woman takes care of herself, how she takes care of her feet.
Well, that's true.
That kind of inspiration. And then the better I get with my swing, the less I care about the feet. I just want them up in the air.
Yeah.
Hold on. All right, that's enough of that. Let's look at this list. Now, before we get into Red 1, I'm surprised this is going into theaters, right?
Yeah, I think they're going to regret it going into theaters. To be
Here,
honest
in
with
fact,
you.
actually, let's reset that because I want to record this for tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. In studio, very special guest. He is film critic extraordinaire, Mr. Herb Stratford. Good morning, Herb.
Good morning.
All right, now let's get into a movie that should be a blockbuster, maybe. It stars The Rock, and it's going to be out in theaters, but I thought this one was going to be straight to Netflix. Why am I wrong on this?
This whole movie smacks of created in a boardroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can just hear the pitch. Okay, all right. We're new classic Christmas movie. We're gonna lightning in a bottle. We're gonna do Elf all over again. Okay, all right. So, Santa Claus. He gets kidnapped. Okay, all right. Who's the head of security for Santa Claus that let it happen?
Head of security.
The Rock.
course.
That's it. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. But he's not good enough. He needs to bring somebody in to help, like a tracker. Like who's another person that we could bring? Chris. Okay, yeah. Chris Edwards. Okay, yeah. Let's do that. Right.
Right.
Okay, then wait. All right, who's gonna be Santa Claus? We need some gravitas. We need somebody that's like an Academy Award nominee that will slum. J.K. Simmons. We'll do him, right? So it just feels very
Love Santa,
constructed,
yes.
right? It just and then like we'll throw in a bunch of CGI. It just feels like it was, like manufactured. Like there's no creative spirit here. It was just like, let's put these pieces together because they're going to equal something greater. So this is 36%. Look at my voice is going wrong.
Yeah, man.
36% on Rotten Tomatoes. That should tell you something.
This is a bad news for The Rock for many reasons.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
good news for wrestling fans, though, meaning The Rock is going to have to go back to wrestling a little bit more, to get his stock back up. Because this film, legendarily, went $50 million over budget
Yeah.
for being late.
Yeah.
A lot of rumor and speculation was it was because of The Rock just showing up whenever the hell he wanted to show up and kind of being a diva. Now, this is the opposite of what his reputation was beforehand as Mr. Nice Guy Rock.
Yeah,
One of the stories I came across was about him peeing in bottles on set.
What?
Yep.
Yeah,
and then leaving them around set, like not even picking them up.
He's
and
just, like,
people were
signing
like, yeah.
Right.
The Rock, I got this on eBay now.
Yeah, I'm The Rock. Somebody will clean up my pee jugs for me.
Yeah, I mean,
know,
it's
wow.
just, I think we've topped out, right? Okay, you got to the top, you abused it, you're sliding back.
Yeah, no, this was his official statement, though, because this was an interview in GQ in the Men of the Year issue. He was asked about peeing in bottles, and he said, yeah, that happens. And he didn't elaborate. Now, he reportedly peed in bottles instead of taking bathroom breaks and had someone else dispose of them. The director added that The Rock can be late sometimes, but he never missed a full day of work. That's just because they would extend days to be 30 hours straight. 5 hours a day is the time that Rock would show up.
Yeah.
And this director, Jake Kasdan, actually worked on Rock with 3 other movies, so he's probably used to it. But what say you? I mean, this seems like since The Rock didn't elaborate on this, do you feel like the rumors and speculation are kind of true that he was just filling up bottles and then letting the peons, so to speak, take care of them?
I think the fact that he admitted to it means that it's even much worse.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Right.
I feel like if he denied it.
He's getting out in front of it.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I did that, whatever. And it's like, no, not whatever. That's gross and not cool. And,
right.
And if you're admitting this, there's probably something else even worse.
Yeah,
So,
which is unfortunate, dude. Now, The Rock right now in the WWE landscape is a heel, which is a bad guy. Which is good that he's a bad guy, because when more and more of these stories come out, it lends to him being a better bad guy. And that's the only thing at this point that will kind of save his status and his stock value, because after another big blockbuster flop, how many of these do you think the studio will continue to finance?
Yeah.
So he's like become Dark Rock.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, maybe this is like a PR thing, a long con. He's like, you know what?
Well, that would be pretty smart, actually, if he was doing it, because like now he's trying to compete with with Cena.
Yep.
And Peacemaker season 2 is getting ready to drop, and he's just like he's flailing around, right?
Yeah.
And Hulk Hogan's back on the national stage. He's soon going to be named probably Secretary of Defense. Who knows?
Yeah,
So,
he's got some kind of job.
I love it. Ripping his shirt every time. It's the press.
That's right.
What you gonna do, Palestine? Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. Yeah. But so, do you think that people should avoid seeing Red One, or if they want to get in the Christmas spirit early?
So here's my take on that. If you've got kids, sure, it's going to be a fun movie you can take your kids to. But if you don't have kids, just wait. It'll be streaming. But it's no Elf. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, Elf is a high bar, though, so I can understand. So yeah, the movie Red One might be worth saving your money and waiting a couple weeks for it to drop on Max or something like that. Herb Stratford, thanks for coming in and giving us the heads up.
Absolutely.
All right. So with that too, let's see. What's our time on that? Yeah, 5 minutes. That's good. Yeah, I just think I don't think they're gonna give him any more money after this. I mean, Moana 2 is gonna come out, so
yeah. I mean, I just think he's peaked. I mean, at the end of the day, I just feel like and this is a problem for a lot of people. Like that's why you have to hand it to somebody like Tom Cruise or Harrison Ford or some of these guys, even Costner, that have managed to sort of weather. Right, the down spots, and then continue to be part of our collective consciousness of, and at the end of the day, I think The Rock is going to be, and I'm not, this is no shame, I'm just saying it. He's a wrestler first and an actor second, and I think he wanted to be an actor like first, right? Like I think he would love to have an Oscar. That's never going to happen.
No, unless they start giving out Oscars for WrestleMania performances, because those have been pretty solid. One thing I didn't realize that was coming to streaming services until I just saw it was Deadpool and Wolverine on Disney Plus. That came out this
already,
week.
huh?
Yeah,
Tuesday. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, and that was just a surprise. So it came out on Tuesday, so I literally saw it the first day, and it just kind of popped up on my radar. I'm like, fuck yeah, I get to watch this again with all the great F-bombs and all this stuff. So yeah. And The Assembled, I haven't got to watch yet, but I want to see that, which is their behind the scenes feature.
Yeah, it's on my list. I'm so excited to see that, and I loved all the rumors. I know they're not true, but like the two of them hosting the Oscars, now that would be awesome.
That would be fun.
Yeah. But he said they're doing another movie, not of those characters, but the three of them, those two and Sean Levy, the director. They're working on something else. I love that vibe. I really do. I think those guys, they have a great time. I just love being a fly on the wall between those interactions and
interactions between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Grant, Hugh Jackman. I get my Hughes all jacked up. Welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents the Rock 102.1 KFMA. That's film critic Herb Stratford. As we were talking about them potentially, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman potentially hosting the Oscars, but probably not. But you need somebody who does work out to host the Oscars nowadays, because again, the whole Chris Rock scenario. Let's not forget And I've been seeing more clips of that for whatever reason. I've been seeing more clips of Will Smith
Slapping him?
slapping Chris Rock. And I forgot what I was watching that kind of showcased that again prominently. But it's just a reminder to hate on Will Smith. Hate on him for what he did in that moment, and hate on everyone else in that room for what they didn't do in that moment.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
Bless Chris Rock. I feel bad for him because imagine being in that situation. You get punked out and hit hard,
Right.
in a global audience, and in his choice, what he decided to do was remain professional.
Yeah, turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
When he literally could have been like,
I'm
dropping
out.
F-bombs, double bird and walk off the stage, and just look around and be like, hey, Oscars, security or anyone going to come out for this? No, we're just going to take it and then laugh at me? No.
And honestly, it wasn't like he called her a hoe. You know what I mean? It was like he told there was no need for that. In
G.I. Jane joke. Yeah.
It was just and it didn't land with 80% of America because they don't know what that movie was.
Yeah, it wasn't a great joke.
So I don't know. It was sad all the way around. It's a sad day, and I think he went into the doghouse for a little while, and then he released this slavery movie, and he's been trying to weasel his way back into our good graces.
Yeah, dude. Nah, I'm not falling for it though. So I'm anti Will Smith.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Cool. All right, so that was actually the trailer for Real Pain. So let's get into that.
No, that's probably it's. Oh, okay. You want to talk about it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, you don't like Real Pain?
No, I do. I really liked it.
Okay,
I watched it yesterday. Yeah.
Real Pain, which we're gonna watch the trailer for, stars Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin. So Kieran Culkin is trying to make the leap from a Succession into movies and doing it successfully. How'd he do?
He does great. I loved him in Succession. He was one of my favorite characters, and this is I think this may be the first movie he's doing since Succession wrapped. And this is written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg, and so very interesting that he picked Kieran Culkin. The way it is it's these two cousins. Their grandmother has died, and they decided to take a trip to Poland to see where she lived before she left during World War II.
Right.
And so basically, it's a road trip movie in essence, right? Because it's the two of those guys and all of their interaction with each other, and then with the other people on the tour. And it's a little somber because they go to a concentration camp, as you would do if you're on a Polish history tour.
Yeah.
But it's a really sweet movie. I love the writing is great. I love the casting. It's a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is just really, it's just a great movie. I mean, it's not Red One. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
It feels authentic. It's genuine. It's well done. And these guys are great.
Is there a lot of big cameos or appearances in this movie from?
No. It's a very subtle, a very small movie. I think what you're going to see though is you're going to see some award nominations. I really do.
Really?
Yeah.
And Best Director nominations for Jesse Eisenberg?
But I think just acting and the writing. I think it actually won the Sundance. I think it won Best Screenplay. So, I mean, it's teed up. I mean, it's funny. I was thinking this morning, I wish that Hollywood would not dump all of the great movies in the fall. You know what I mean? Because the rest of the year, it's just it's this parade of garbage, with an occasional thing. And then now you get all these things that are really good. I really enjoyed Saturday Night. I don't know if people have watched that yet. I mean, there's some good stuff out, and it's all now. So.
Yeah, and I haven't seen Saturday Night yet, but that's a movie about the inaugural season of Saturday Night Live and all the behind the scenes.
It's the 90 minutes right before the airing of the first episode, and the chaos, and it's just at first you're like, oh, that's supposed to be Chevy Chase, and you're like, that's not Chevy Chase, but you're like you sort of start to get it eventually. You're like, oh, well, yeah, okay, that's sure it doesn't look exactly like Jane Curtin, but I get it.
Yeah.
I really liked it because I remember watching the first episode, so I know I'm an old guy.
No, I wasn't even going to say anything. I'm sure you were just coming of age at that time. It's a young, strapping Herb Stratford watching the first episode of Saturday Night Live, high out of his mind on cocaine.
Those are the days.
Them's were the times, for sure. Yeah. We're going to keep the conversation moving on to podcast broadcast. We'll continue to talk about Saturday Night and a bunch of other movies. And Kieran Culkin is making a name for himself and potentially nominated for Best Actor. Macaulay Culkin actually announced that he's working again. So that's good news. We'll talk about that on the podcast broadcast stream. Join us, youtube.com/BeefVegan. What is he in? Stranger Things or what?
He's coming out in, Fallout Season 2?
Oh, yes, Fallout season 2.
Season 2, yep, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's like 7 Culkin kids, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it's like a Mormon family or something. I mean, there's a lot of
There's
them.
only 2 we care about, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's Macaulay, who's, went on. It was weird for a while doing, his punk rock thing, punk rock and pizza, and living his best life. And then Kieran, who's been really attempting to, step outside of the shadow of Macaulay for his entire life. And just recently has done it with Succession, honestly.
Yeah, no, and then that was the perfect role for him, and he inhabited that character. I mean, I love that show, and it's nice to see that he's now using that as a launch to sort of. But you're right. I think he was in the shadow of his brother, and which is a little silly because I mean, really, what did Macaulay do except Home Alone?
That's
right?
really
I mean,
it,
it wasn't like your De Niro's brother.
Well, The Good Son. He was good in The Good Son,
That
too.
was a good movie
Yeah,
too, man.
that's
Messed
true.
up. Yeah, kind of like the dark Culkin in a sense,
Yes.
but he was like a lot of the indie movies, and I think they play off each other pretty good.
Yeah.
That's 2 dark references.
I know, right?
You're stuck on the dark to me.
dark. Going dark.
But it is it's like those opposites. It's so funny how we get those things, and they work out.
Oh, actually, we had a question that we're going to ask tomorrow morning, but I'll ask you the question. Herb, if you were to describe the opposite of yourself, what would that be?
Like in how many words?
In as many words as you want, Mr. Film Critic. How many? What is the best description to describe the opposite of Herb Stratford?
Like dark Herb.
Okay. All right. Well, I would say shy,
Okay.
not outgoing.
Right.
I would say maybe very religious.
Okay.
Okay. And I don't know. I mean, I think maybe just boring. I consider myself to be somewhat interesting because I do a lot of interesting different things. You know what I mean? Like when I tell people what I do, they're like, oh, that's interesting. So,
Well, they say that because they're surprised. You lost me on the last one. I thought you were going to say short, but
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know we were talking about physical attributes.
we help bring out the entertainment value in you. I'm gonna, that's Emil's job actually. Make him entertaining, Emil.
Do it. Dance right now. Dance right now.
All right, that was a little speed break for tomorrow here. So, yeah, but short, physical as well. But yeah, that was good. And you are, entertaining to a certain extent. I can see how you could carry a conversation. Well,
Well,
so
and like when I walk into a room, like I mean, I'll go talk to somebody. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to like force myself to be social. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
right.
I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. I'm Herb. I mean, that's something that some people, they have to force themselves.
Yeah,
to
you're
be
organic
outward.
with it.
Yeah,
You just get right into it.
And,
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I mean, I guess my parents. I don't know. Anyway.
well, and you're a giant of a man, so you're basically introducing yourself as a way to make them feel safer, and that you're not going to murder them, by
That's
stepping
true.
on them.
That is true.
I get the opposite. It's really weird because I am somewhat outgoing in certain scenarios, and then there's scenarios where I'm completely the opposite. And it's such an introvert that I can't even feel comfortable in public spaces. But like one of the places where that's not it is like the Tucson Arena. Like if I'm working a Roadrunners game, even before the game, I would literally go up and talk to each and every person.
Right.
But then if I go to like say a busy crowded bar on a Friday night, then I'll like not feel comfortable until the drinks are in.
I get that though.
Yeah,
It's like the energy that's in the air, the electricity that feeds it.
right.
Did the same thing with like concerts and stuff. Easy out going talking to people, but yeah, if you're like, hey, I'm just going to stand up in a restaurant and start talking to people, no, it's going to.
Well, and also it's like there's something about like if you're working, right?
Right, yeah,
So
yeah.
like sometimes we'll be out at dinner or something, and my wife will be like, "Oh, there's so and so. You should go talk to them because we're raising money for whatever."
Yeah.
And I'll just be like, you know what? I don't. Like I'm
Not
here to
feeling
eat
it.
dinner, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be working. Like I'm or you get home after doing a bunch of stuff and you're like, man, I didn't want to be down.
Yeah.
You know,
Right,
I just
yeah.
want I go on some downtime. I need to recharge my batteries.
Exactly, because it's a lot of energy to put that out there, too.
yeah.
Todd said on the stream, Herb, if you weren't slumming it with trash TV time, you'd totally class up the place.
Trash TV, like
One Man's Trash is another
That's true.
Emmy-nominated great reality challenge series that's been on for 40 seasons,
Oh, okay.
25 years.
He's taking shots at the challenge. Got it. All right, Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's so good. How many more episodes do you think are going to be left on the challenge? We already did a purge and everything, and we're getting to.
And we did a mini final, so I feel like we got one more week of normal stuff, and then I think we're look at that. How many people are left?
Yeah, getting close to that final.
Yeah, I think we are.
They're going to do a three-way elimination here soon too for both men and women.
Yeah.
So spoiler on that.
Yeah.
And so then it's probably final right after that.
Yeah, and it'll be a 2-part final, and then there'll be a reunion where they can scream at each other. So we've got a couple episodes.
Which
to
they
go.
already shot the reunion as well.
Oh, did they?
Yes. And it's interesting too because
Don't spoil.
no, I'm not spoiling. So an episode before there was karma points. Well, Johnny Bananas was defending a woman named Laurel all season long on his podcast, defending her to the death. And then the episode comes out where Laurel gets purged, and she gives karma points out to people, and she gives Johnny Bananas a 1, which is the biggest insult that you could possibly do in this scenario.
Especially
and
for
betrayal.
one of his circle.
He put her on top of everyone.
Yeah.
Right? And for her to turn her back and be like, nah, F you, then he's like, oh my God, everybody was right. So now he's eating his words and, humbly being like, I'm sorry, yes. And Team Cara Maria. Then it was filmed right after that, 2 days later, Cara Maria's at his boxing gym and they're doing videos together.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's a sweet thing to see for nerds, I guess. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah, I like that. I like both of those two. I don't want them fighting.
I know. It's like, why don't you just be together and just
Get rid of Paulie. Come on.
All right, yes, we are nerds. Okay, every now and then we'll geek out on that. And yes, a bunch of people left the stream because of it, but that's okay.
Of course.
I was gonna leave the studio. I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
It's our thing,
It's
Emil.
all right.
You wouldn't understand, and it's so weird
It's all right, though.
that no one would be able to assume that someone of Herb's stature and someone of my stature would be able to come together in a moment like this and bond over something so silly. But yeah, that's one of the things where there was a moment where we realized this is why we're friends.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Took us years to know that.
Yeah.
All right, so
I still need that picture. You never sent me the picture of me as the 3-armed film critic.
oh shit, yeah. Well, I have it right here. I can email
Yeah,
it to you because
all
it literally just pulled up when I pulled up my stuff from earlier for was it Family Feud questions? It's around. Oh yeah, right.
It's a pretty good picture too. We're gonna start seeing it on your
is.
social media. I have a
It is.
feeling.
You may. You
Yeah.
may. I don't have the scarf on today, but yes, it was spot on last week.
Damn 3-armed critic. I'm emailing it to you right now.
All right,
and
thank
I'll
you.
show it on the screen as well, just so you guys could understand the reference, which we I think we shared last week as well, but here it is. Because Herb wore a scarf, which he was smart enough not to wear again this time.
Yeah, after I've been mocked, I learned my lesson.
Yeah, I mean, you should know. Anything that makes you stick out or peacock whatsoever, I'm
Yeah.
immediately going to hone in on, just start roasting.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so he did that. I was like, "Look at you, stereotypical film critic," and he didn't believe that that metaphor or joke. And so I went to ChatGPT and I said, "Just the prompt was as simple as can be. Create an image of a film critic." And ChatGPT came up with this. And this was literally what Herb looked like. So it was a young Herb Stratford, which I imagine, I didn't know Herb back in the 1940s when he was starting out. But, I imagine this is exactly the scenario. Well, minus the third arm because AI is weird as shit sometimes.
I mean, I just don't understand, why they don't have a thing where, somehow in the code it says 2 arms max. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't put that in a prompt. I have to be oddly specific.
It's interpreting how busy this guy is and how focused he is on the film and writing about it.
And
Yes.
the fact you have to write and hold your chin at the
Yes.
same time. It's true.
Yeah. The 3-arm thing was weird. But everything else, though, spot on. Was your hair brown, like that color when you were younger, or was it always blonde?
I've always been blonde. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
I was close.
Yeah, that's all right.
A blonde critic would have been just like that.
Yeah.
Scarf, though, the entire, the ensemble, they were just like, oh, that's his outfit today? That's what we're going to create.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. All right, let's talk about what's happening on the streaming services now. We'll get back on the air. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. That was Paralyzer here. We're live on a podcast broadcast with in-house film critic Herb Stratford. Now, we talked about the movie releases that are happening this weekend. What's coming to our streaming service that we should be excited about?
So the big thing, and this is, of course, easier if you watch the first season, but the big thing this week is Silo, which is the great science fiction series on Apple TV. And this is the series with Rebecca Ferguson, who, of course, I love from Dune and everything else. But she plays a woman who is a member of this community that lives in an old silo, like not a missile silo, but like a place where you would go, a refuge, right, for to get away from things. This silo, there's people that have been living in this for like 200 years, and because of the great amount of time that's passed, nobody even knows like why they're there, like how they got there. They're just like generations removed. They just all live there. And of course, there's people at the bottom of the silo that are the workers. So you have that issue with the people at the top, sort of like Snowpiercer. And then, the whole thing is like, nobody can leave. And because they've got this camera that shows how devastated the surface is. Well, people start to question that. And so the first season is the whole thing where she, at the end of it, gets banished and gets sent out of the silo. So this whole second season is what is happening to her now that she's left the silo, and the fallout at the silo that she left, about all the power struggle. Fantastic cast. You've got
Common?
Yeah,
Common's in that, who I love. You've also got Tim Robbins.
I was
who
wondering
is
if
the
that was
big
Tim
bad
Robbins.
guy. Yeah, he's like the mayor or the governor or whatever you want to call him of the silo, and he wants to maintain his hold on this community, right? So it's very interesting, very well done. I've seen 9 out of 10. I don't know how the season ends, but I really dig this series. It's smart science fiction, and it's just got a great cast. So this is 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, so definitely worth checking out if you're a sci-fi fan. And, again, you can binge the first season and then jump right in.
The thing I noticed about these Apple series is they're so cinematographic. No?
Cinematographic?
No, I'm messing up the word. They look like just big budget films, right?
Yeah.
The
Cinematography.
cinematography, see, I'm melted down on the caffeine.
No, and that's the budget, right? Like Apple spends, I think, number 2 against Amazon or against Netflix, whoever number 1 is. They spend billions of dollars on content, and you can tell they do fewer things, but they do them better.
They do them so well. You like, even just the trailers, you're like, God, this looks so good, and it's so hard to actually think that this is a series. Like,
Looks like a movie.
Yeah, it looks like a fantastic, huge budget, like great movie. But that's how all of Apple's, projects they end up coming out. So like visually stunning, top quality.
And they take their time. They're not just like, oh crap, we got to make a bunch of money before we have to shut this thing down.
Right, right. Now, is that a good business model in the long run? Only time will tell, because they're not necessarily winning the streaming wars by any means.
No, but you can see who wants to work with them too, right? So Scorsese did, his movie, whatever. I'm blanking on it right now, but and then they're working with all the big people because they have the money to throw around. But yeah, this is worth your time. This is probably the best thing on streaming this week that drops. This is we're getting into the fall season, so there's of course a lot of stuff coming out now and towards the end of the year and the beginning of the year, but this is definitely one to watch.
I love it. Well, that's only one of the things coming to your streaming service. We're going to talk about something else that you might want to check out on the podcast broadcast stream, youtube.com/beefvegan, but we'll hit a quick reset on the FM side. Be back with your beef tip after these words. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Clear. So
actually this next thing is not a streaming thing, it's a live in-person thing.
Oh, shoot.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's all right.
We'll talk about this. Because Tucson premiere, at the Loft?
No, it's at the Tucson Museum of Art, and this is the movie I directed.
Oh, shit, dude. I want to give you some on air for that. So I will. Let's see. You directed this movie. Yeah, this is the guy. This is the one that you've been doing this for a year.
I have. Yeah.
Okay, so you finally got it done?
Well, yeah. We finished it, and we sort of did a little bit of a release during COVID, but we never screened it locally. So this is our in-person Tucson premiere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Then you don't have a trailer for this, though, huh?
Yeah, there's a trailer in there.
Where's the trailer? I clicked the link and went immediately to the tickets. So you're trying.
No, but go. There's it on that page.
Oh, watch trailer. Yeah. Okay, I see it.
If it wasn't 100 years old, it wasn't valuable.
This is an antique store. We don't carry that junk.
Do you know the name Stickley? If they do know it, they'll say furniture, but there's so much more to it.
There was a mystical, if you will, quality about Gustav Stickley furniture.
I mean, he really was showing people that you can transform the quality of your life from the inside of the home out by how you choose to live. This is how I do it.
When you walk into the living room, which is the first space that people get to see and get immersed into Stickley's world, You usually hear a sigh out of people.
In the magazine, Stickley created a gospel for the American arts and crafts movement.
And it rejected traditional values. It was concerned about ecology, children's rights in the workplace, women's rights in the workplace. We take for granted these things. They weren't part of the established workday before the arts and crafts movement kicked in.
Like a lot of people who start working in New York City, he discovered New Jersey.
His vision for Craftsman Farms was that this would be a living laboratory for him to experiment with the back-to-nature lifestyle that the arts and crafts movement was in favor of.
He had this vision, and he was able to realize it.
This movement didn't die in the 20s. The principles, they've endured.
When Gustav Stickley died in 1942, he was really long forgotten. There was really no obituary in the New York Times.
All of a sudden, we're elevating this to art. It's happening in Princeton. It's a fine academic institution. Therefore, they must know something.
Prices began to rise. Christie's in New York and then Sotheby's in New York really became major players in the market.
380,000. We can't collect this anymore.
And I didn't know anything about this dresser, except that it didn't work very well. It was one of the worst pieces of furniture I ever had for functionality. One day I came home and was told that it was now in the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
His life had become greater than merely producing furniture.
If all of us were able to realize this much of our dream, this much, that's amazing to me. I'll take it.
That is the documentary that Herb Strafford has directed. And on the air, when we get back on the air, we're going to talk about the live screening of American Craftsman, Gustav Stickley, and a lot of the furniture that we grew up with. He was designed by Gustav.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was your passion project too.
It was
Yeah.
several years we spent working on it, and we had a good run, but we've never shown it locally, so we thought we would do it as a benefit for the Tucson Museum of Art.
I feel like I've been doing you a disservice because I just describe you as a film critic, but you're a film critic and director.
That's true.
Yeah,
and that's something honestly, if you put on a Tinder profile, you bounce back pretty quickly.
That and my scarf, I'd be in good shape, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big deal. Are you ever gonna direct another movie?
Oh yeah, no. I've got a list of about 12 I want to do. I just got to find money for it because it's hard to raise money to do these things.
Imagine.
So,
yeah, don't look around here.
Yeah, present company excluded. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like a cartoon character. I flip my pockets inside out, bugs will fly out. So that's how broke I am.
Very nice.
Yeah, so we got about 30 seconds before we get on. So what we'll do is we'll plug that and then a brief beef tip, I think.
All right.
Do I have a beef tip? Oh yeah, AirTags. AirTags will finally be able to share info with airlines. So yeah, I'll explain the difference here. So we got about 2 minutes, so let's do that. Rock 102.1. We are wrapping things up here on the podcast broadcast, but as always, like to thank in studio guest Herb Strafford and of course Emil riding shotgun today. Herb's got a big event for his movie that he directed, and for fans of documentaries, you could see this live and in person. Tell me all about it, Herb.
So this is a documentary about Gustav Stickley, who was a furniture maker and sort of lifestyle entrepreneur. He ran a magazine. He designed houses and furniture and all this stuff back in about 1900 to about 1914. And we spent about 3 years making this movie, and got picked up for distribution and was released. And we're now doing a Tucson screening because a lot of our crew is here in Tucson, and we've never shown it in person here in town. And so, yeah, it's Saturday night at the Tucson Museum of Art, 5:30. It's like a $10 ticket. Hey, cheaper than Red One.
Yeah.
Right? And more entertaining, for sure.
Exactly. More entertaining than this. Red One is so boring that a documentary about furniture blows it out of the water. But what a great celebration of not only our friend and everything that you guys accomplished as a crew for that live screening. So definitely come out and support and watch this. You'll find it fascinating and wildly entertaining as well. And that's Herb Strafford's directorial debut as well. So, Gustav, where can people find tickets?
Just at the Tucson Museum Museum of Art, day of. So
Day
I
of.
think you can go online to their website, too, if you wanted to. Go ahead.
Excellent. Yes. So
Thank you.
that's Herb Stratford, of course, dude. I'm excited for you. All right, let's wrap things up with the beef tip. Now, this is not new information for people who fly, but, it is smart to put an Apple AirTag on your luggage before you check it.
Yeah.
But now, Apple has announced a new feature that will allow you to share your AirTag location data directly with the airlines. Before, you'd be able to see your lost bag, but the airline couldn't. But now you can both get on the same page and say, no, dummy, my bag's in Singapore. You need to bring it back immediately, right? So the share item location will be an option for iPhone users who get the Apple iTag. So my beef tip to you is if you're flying for the holidays, buy an iTag because, trust me, you'll thank me later if your bags get lost, which tends to happen a lot more during this season than any others. So tag up your luggage before you fly and tell your airline to look up your data and get your bag back immediately. And while you're at it, throw in some extra free peanuts because I missed that too. All right, that's all the time we have for the show. Thank you guys for listening. Tomorrow morning, we'll continue to give away tickets for Papa Roach and Rise Against, but Robin Nash is up next. Enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later.
When you wish upon a side of beef,
a lot of
will
stuff.
come an end to all your grief. But if you've been mean or kind of bad, I will not.
A documentary
have all
about
your
furniture,
teeth.
more entertaining than Red One. What a